Hey everybody, JCB here at the Awesomist, and you're watching the Awesomist Awesome List. As you know, I do a lot of Six Flags based content on this channel, and I'm by no means an expert on roller coasters or theme parks or anything like that. I'm just a regular person, and I feel like that's why my content works. I'm a regular person offering a regular person point of view on the kind of things that regular people might wonder about when it comes to things like Magic Mountain and roller coasters and whatnot. But I have had a few people ask me over the years if I am associated with Six Flags, and some people have actually accused me of doing like paid content for Six Flags, like I'm some kind of Magic Mountain shill or something. This is definitely not the case. By the way, Six Flags Corporation, if you want to pay me a bunch of money to do some sponsored Six Flags content, send the checks here. You can also email me at lottieboy@gmail.com to set things up. I could use a new camera. I think it's kind of weird when people ask me if I'm affiliated with Six Flags or just assume that I am, considering the fact that I've actually been pretty critical of them over the years. I usually tell it how it is when I find something I don't like about something the park's doing. Like, I was really critical about Frankfest last year. I let my feelings known pretty clearly when I was upset about the way Six Flags Fiesta Texas treated my daughter last summer, and everybody knows how I feel about Viper. In fact, in just about every Six Flags video I've ever made, I'm at least somewhat critical about something. But my criticism comes from a place of love. I want the park to be better. I expect the park to stand toe-to-toe with other premium theme parks in Southern California. So to set the record straight once and for all, and because I feel like this is kind of a neat twist on a tried and true theme, here are my top 10 least favorite things about Six Flags Magic Mountain. Number 10, the mountain. This is kind of a small one, and it's right there in the name, Magic Mountain, and the mountain is kind of a unique element to the park. It provides some great, amazing views, but by the 4th or 5th time up that damn hill, you start wishing the whole park was flat. I can only imagine the hassle of having to traverse this park in a wheelchair. There are so many stairs and steep climbs that taking a walk around the park is no walk in the park. And if you find yourself back by the go-karts when your friends text you to meet at full throttle, you now have to figure out how you're going to get all the way around this giant hill. It's a pain. Number 9, the Carnival. Carnival games are a ripoff no matter where you go, and Six Flags is no exception. You're basically paying a ton of money to play a rigged game so you can try to win a prize that costs about 50 cents. On top of that, you get pestered the entire time you're walking through the Carnival area by all the carnies trying to get you to play their game. And of course at Magic Mountain, the Carnival area is a main path of the park, making it almost impossible to avoid. Add to that the fact that a lot of the prizes have been sitting out in the sun so long that they're faded and warped and look like garbage, and I can't help but wonder why so much space is being wasted on this nonsense. Why would I want to waste my money playing rigged games to win overpriced prizes that should have been thrown away at the end of summer 2014? And if you don't believe me that these games are straight up rigged, check out this video by YouTuber Mark Robber, in which he lays out a few of the ways the odds are stacked against you. It's definitely worth a watch. Number 8, the arcade. So just like the Carnival section, the arcade is just another way for the park to rip you off every chance they get. In fact, that same YouTuber did another video about a specific arcade game and how it's rigged against you, but trust me, all arcade games are rigged against you. Most operate on a rule called payout, which means the game is impossible to win until enough money has been finally put into the machine for the operator to make a huge profit. Then and only then do you even have a chance of actually winning. In addition to that standard operating procedure, the arcade at Six Flags Magic Mountain screws you over before you even choose which game you want to play. Normally, if you put $1 into a token machine, you get 4 tokens. At Six Flags, you get 2. By just buying tokens, you lose half your money. Number 7, the walk from the parking lot. Six Flags definitely needs a parking structure. I've been going to Universal Studios Hollywood for a few months now, and I have to say the way they do parking is pretty much perfect. Basically, you drive into one of the few parking structures they have, you park your car, you take your elevator down to the bottom, and you're at City Walk, which is basically like being in the park because you can immediately start doing things that are fun. At every Six Flags park I've been to so far, you park your car usually really far away from the gate, then have to decide if you're gonna walk like Moses in the goddamn desert or try to catch the tram, which takes, and I kid you not, exactly the same amount of time to load up and get to the gate as if you walked. It's such a huge waste of time. You either sit around waiting for the tram to fill up with people and then make every single stop on the way to the gate as people get on and get off the tram, or you walk through what feels like miles of parking lot just to get to the gate before you can even do anything fun. Number 6, the food. Out of all the things on this list that I've complained about in the past, the food has to be the one that I've talked about the most. And apparently they've tried to fix this recently, at least according to news articles I found online, but the last time I went, the food was still pretty bad. And I'm not sure if this is due to Magic Mountain's rental policies causing these food places to operate on a shoestring budget. Maybe Magic Mountain's no outside food or drinks policy emboldens these places to ignore quality since you literally have no other choice unless you want to trek 20 minutes back to the parking lot to get food. And maybe Magic Mountain dictates where these places can purchase ingredients from, and that's the problem. I don't know. All I know is the prices are too high, the quality is too low, and the number of selections is too little. Every other theme park in Southern California has way better food, including Santa's Village or Sky Park, which is a small single-location park in Twin Peaks, California. Their food is great. Disneyland is of course known for its great food, and then places like Universal Studios have world-class restaurants right there in City Walk. Places like Bubblegum Shrimp, Samba, and Margaritaville, which was gross when I went, so maybe that's a bad example. But the idea is they have good food, you just have to walk a couple feet to get there. Six Flags is just notoriously bad, and there's no reason for it. Why is the park selling limp, mushy french fries and frozen Tyson chicken strips? Number 5, Viper. It still exists. It sits on property that is worth far more than the actual roller coaster itself, especially when you consider that nobody really rides the ride, which is why it's always a walk-on. So they have this incredibly expensive piece of property being wasted by a ride that nobody's riding and nobody likes. Why is it still there? Isn't there some theme park somewhere with low enough standards to pay a decent price for Viper so that we can get rid of it? I mean, come on. Number 4, they only run one train at a time. With the exception of rides like Jetstream and Roaring Rapids and Twisted Colossus, most of the roller coasters at the park only run one train at a time. And by that I mean they'll load a second train while the first one's going, but they won't send that second train until the first one comes back. Contrast this with other parks where a constant stream of trains runs non-stop all day, and you start to wonder how many more rides you could potentially ride on a busy day if they changed the way things operated. It's just inefficient and could be done much, much better. Number 3, the bathrooms. It's pretty well known in business circles that the way you maintain your bathroom reflects on your business overall. If you don't care enough to maintain something as important and safety orientated as your bathroom, what else do you don't care about with your business? Like, if you literally don't care that there is shit and piss everywhere, what else are you neglecting? This is an especially concerning concept for anyone in the hospitality business, be it restaurants, hotels, cruise lines, and yes, even theme parks. Typically, these types of businesses put a lot of time and effort into maintaining their restrooms, but not Magic Mountain. It's perplexing how bad the bathrooms are. For some reason, every single surface in the bathrooms are soaking wet. It feels and looks like someone just went in there with a pressure washer and hosed the entire place down, and yet it still smells like fermented piss. And who are the people that are carving their name into the seats of toilets? Like, why would you want your name or the name of your gang or whatever associated with somewhere people put their bare ass and take a crap? Why are you getting that close to the toilet? Why are you carving into it? You're at a theme park. You can't find something better to do with your time? Number 2, shit look busted. Aside from the bathrooms, large parts of the park just start to look more and more run down as the years go on. And sure, every January or so, the park puts a fresh coat of paint on things, but unless they're doing major construction like they are by Sandblaster right now, most of the maintenance is very surface level. Taking a look around the park, you'll find cracked concrete everywhere. Spider webs in plain sight, dirty windows, fencing around the park is rusted or if wooden, rotting away. They have buildings that have been sitting empty for a decade or longer. There are dead leaves in gutters, gum and writing on handrails and walls. Hell, the biggest, most substantial piece of the Magic Mountain skyline, the observation tower, has been closed for what seems like forever. The park just looks and feels neglected at times. Number 1, too many Carnival rides. Why does Six Flags Magic Mountain have so many of these stupid carnival rides? Buccaneer, Puxanity, the Carousel, Sandblaster, Scrambler, Swashbuckler, Speed Force, the Lasso of Truth. These are the kind of rides you can find literally everywhere. Magic Mountain is a world-class theme park, not a county fair. So why does it have so many rides that were manufactured for traveling carnivals? It would be different if this was the only theme park for 100 miles around. In that case, you take what you can get. But Magic Mountain sits in Southern California and has to compete with the likes of SeaWorld, Knott's Berry Farm, Disneyland, and Universal Studios. Major theme parks shouldn't feature the same kind of rides that show up with a big top on the side of the highway and then disappear the following Monday. And it's one thing to have these kind of rides in like the little kid area, Looney Tune Land or whatever, because little kids like those kind of rides and there's a different expectation for that part of the park. Aerial carousels like Yosemite Sam's Flight School are no different than Dumbo at Disneyland. My problem is there's always a chance Six Flags will buy an old zipper ride from a traveling carnival, paint it chrome, call it Cyborg Cyber Chaos, and put it in DC Universe as if it's a real ride. And I understand the lack of investment in new rides is part of their cautious, slow growth strategy. I understand the excuse. They don't have millions of dollars to dump into a new roller coaster every year. What I dislike about this strategy is that it seriously undermines their ability to compete with other theme parks in Southern California, which is a very competitive market. Southern California is the big leagues for amusement parks, so adding these sort of freeway funfair rides is like swinging a Nerf bat at a Dodgers game. Anyway, that's my list of things I dislike about Six Flags Magic Mountain. Does this mean I hate the park? Absolutely not. I still go all the time. This is just my way of trying to improve the park and also settle any doubts in people's minds about whether or not I'm just a shill for the Six Flags Corporation. I'm not, but I'm totally willing to be for the right price. Just, send me some money so I can buy a new camera. That'd be great. Anyway, can you think of anything else you dislike about the park? If so, let me know down below. As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe as I release new videos every week. And until next time, keep being awesome. Expensive shoes are just plain uncomfortable. I don't care how cool Adidas think they are, I might as well go barefoot. In fact, a lot of expensive shoes seem to be shoes designed for people who don't like wearing shoes. But comfortable shoes aren't usually the most fashionable either. I'm guilty of wearing what a lot of people call dad shoes on the weekend. I just want to be comfortable, damn it.